Guys, I wasn't planning on making a video today, but since I don't do this super often, I thought, well, it would be a good time to make a video. And this is one of the ways I do my cuttings. You may have seen the plastic bottles with holes punched in them, and then they take, where are all the leaves? Here we go. Then they take leaves and they punch a hole in the bottle and they poke a leaf in just into the side like this, so it's hanging into the inside of the bottle and there's a little bit of water inside, and then the cuttings just root. Well, that is a great idea in that it definitely speeds up the cutting process. The reason I don't like to do bottles is because a lot of times the little hole that you poke in the side, the actual plant grows from the end here. So they're poked in, just imagine there's a hole in this and it's poking through this cup. Then the little plant and all the roots grow here. And if you make the hole big enough that you can pull them out easily, once the plant gets developed and roots, then it's too big and the leaves won't stay in usually. And if you make it small enough, then either you have to dismember your bottle, the top of it, and then get a pair of scissors in there and cut the tips off and save your babies, etc., because pulling them out can a lot of times rip roots and do things, and it's just too much hassle for me. If you only have a few, it's a great idea, it's not a big deal, and it won't be too much of a pain in the butt. But if you have a lot, that's the reason you don't see a lot of bottles, plastic bottles with holes poked in them around my place. Usually I just put cuttings in trays. I like starting them in dirt better generally. If you haven't watched my video on roots and the difference between air roots and water roots and soil roots, etc., you'll understand why I prefer to just leave them in soil and let them root in there and develop the kind of roots that they're going to need all along. However, when something's really special, or the cutting isn't doing really great, or in my case right now, I am just not able to keep up watering my cuttings as much as they need to be, especially for these beauties that I'm about to do. And so this is a huge benefit for me in this area, because this method, they're not sitting in water. The stems won't go down clear into the water here. They'll just be above it. But they will have humidity trapped around their stems enough that it'll stimulate root growth, and I won't have to worry that I might get sick and not be able to check them for a week and then bang, they're dead. I do not want that to happen to these. These are little cotyledon cuttings that someone sent me, a wonderful subscriber here sent me, and they are so precious, and I have wanted them for a long time, and they're really easily damaged in shipping, and they were damaged, so I just want to baby them as much as possible. So this is what I'm doing. So this is the way I do an alternative bottle, kind of. I take a cup or a Tupperware or whatever you want, depending on how many you have, because I just have a few. I'm using a cup this time. And then I take Saran wrap, and sorry you can't see me doing this part, but it's all I'm doing is tearing off hunks, so it's not very exciting. So then I put it over, and I use multiple layers, because one layer, if you get a tear in it, it'll just go ahead and rip a hole in, etc. So I usually do 3 or 4 layers of Saran wrap. And it doesn't have to be exact or smooth. You're just wanting the layers here so that it's got enough strength to hold up whatever plant material you're going to put on it, and that when you cut through it, it won't just tear and rip like Saran wrap does so easily. All right, I think 3 is going to be plenty for this guy. These are pretty light. And then I put a rubber band around it like so. You can put a rooting solution, like a willow solution or a B1 solution. And I am going to do, for those of you who have asked, I am going to do a video on the vitamin B1 solution and other rooting solutions. The vitamin B1 actually isn't my favorite thing. It's just what I have right now, and so it's what I'm using. But I will talk more about that in another video soon. So then I take a knife. You can also use like an ice pick. It depends on the shape of your what you're rooting. If you're rooting stems and you need kind of a little slit, a knife works better. If you're rooting a round stem, like I'm doing here, a really sharp pair of tweezers, pokey tweezers, or an ice pick or something can work. But as you can see, my knife has a lovely little point on it. So then you just poke a tiny little hole through all of them, all of the Saran wrap, and stick it just like that. And the Saran wrap keeps the moisture kind of down in there, but they're not soaking in water, so they're not nearly as prone to rot. I am actually going to pull this one more leaf off. I think it'll give it a better chance, and gonna stick it down in a little bit further. And if they don't stand up, it's not a problem, but you can always turn them to where the stem wedges against the side of the cup or container. And this leaf, these are one of the few varieties of this type that will actually root from their leaves. But I don't want to go yapping about this type too much because this video is not about that. And we have another one. And if the stems are too long, I will, yeah, no, it's still not in the water, so we're doing good. And like I said, these guys, if you've ever had like a bear paw or something, you know how easily these guys lose their leaves in shipping. Get my face in there, sorry. I'm just making sure they're not all the way down in the water. And then when you use Saran wrap, it's easier to get them out of because you can just tear it around them, even if babies form underneath or wherever. I don't like this as much for some leaf cuttings, but that's just me. Doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It just, I don't use this method or any of the kind of water methods for leaves as much myself, but I'm definitely going to practice or experiment, that's the word, and try, because I've tried before, but not really. Oh, there's another leaf. I think you're gonna have to leave. I'm sorry. Gonna have to get enough stem to go down. Alrighty, so these guys, just get them all turned to where their stems are supporting them against the walls a little bit. These guys are gonna go in a nice bright sunny window. Oops, I got one more stem. I'm getting ahead of myself here. And you can see this guy's got, I think these were in the top of the box, and I think maybe they just got a little bit of frost on them, which there was a heat pack right by them, so I'm not exactly sure why but some of the more leafy plants don't do as well shipped this time of year. The lithops and some of the really compact messemes do really, really well with the heat packs this time of year, so these guys just might have gotten a little bit nipped. I'm not sure, but there we go. And the leaves are going to go in a rooting tray that I have going. I'm not going to do this method with them just because it's not really how I'm comfortable doing things. I've done it the other way so long, it's just easy for me. But I wanted to show you guys this just in case any of you wanted to try. If any of you have had any frustrations with the bottle method, you might try this and give it a go and see if the problem has been rooting, then this is going to be about the same as rooting it in a water bottle, but or in a plastic bottle. But the if you're having problems getting your roots back through the holes that you've poked into containers, this is a good option because you can easily remove the Saran wrap from around it and are not as likely to damage your plant when you're removing it and getting ready to pot it. Alrighty, these are going to go in a sunny window, and hopefully in a few weeks they will start rooting for us, and I will do my best to give you guys an update. I hope you're having a great day and happy growing.